Hi, my name is Anna Romney, and this is my nonprofit summary for ENVS 5000. So just a quick introduction about me. Like I said, my name is Anna. This is my golden retriever, Woody, and we love hiking and we love anything outside. He loves playing fetch with sticks, especially, and swimming in rivers or lakes. So yeah, that's just a little bit about me and my dog Woody. Alright, so just a quick outline of what this video and presentation will include. So this is a summary of the things that I have found about 3 different nonprofit organizations. The first one is Common Ground Outdoor Adventures, and they are a nonprofit organization that is dedicated to helping people with disabilities have outdoor recreation experiences. The next nonprofit that I will talk about is The Family Place, which is a nonprofit that is dedicated to strengthening families and protecting children, and they have some really cool programs that I'll talk about in a little bit as well. And then the final one is Helping Hearts and Hands, which is a small nonprofit organization that's dedicated to helping individuals with medical needs be able to pay their medical bills if they're unable to. So we will get started with Common Ground. Okay, so Common Ground Outdoor Adventures. Like I had mentioned, they're a really cool organization dedicated to helping individuals with disabilities be able to participate in outdoor recreation experiences that they wouldn't otherwise get the opportunity to participate in. Their mission statement is to provide life-enhancing outdoor recreation for youth and adults with disabilities. And then their mission statement is, their vision statement is to obtain the resources, equipment, facilities, and staff to provide quality physical and financial accessible outdoor recreation opportunities for every youth and young adult with disability that has the desire to participate. We want to do all we can to remove the barriers and enhance people's lives through recreational experiences while reducing the stereotypes society has about people with disabilities. So I think this is a really special vision statement that goes right along with fulfilling their mission statement. It's really cool, especially that they are dedicated to providing the resources for these people, because many of these people don't have the resources that they would need. They have all sorts of opportunities for outdoor recreation, including skiing, snowshoeing, even ice skating, and then at summertime activities they do rafting, hiking, and a few other things like that. They also have group destination trips, so things like camping trips with groups to cool places like local national parks or other camping areas. And so it's just a really cool program that provides a lot of opportunities for these people that wouldn't otherwise have them, because skiing, for example, somebody that might need to ski in a seated ski chair, they most likely don't have that and don't have people that know how to help them use those things. And so it's awesome that these people are able to have these experiences. So just a little bit more about Common Ground, Common Ground Outdoor Adventures. They're located in Logan, Utah, and they have been dedicated to serving the people in Cache Valley for over 40 years now. They have an extensive volunteer program the basic requirement of their volunteer program is that you have to be at least 16 years old to participate. And the majority of their outdoor recreation experiences is run by volunteers. They have people volunteer to help people with disabilities participate in these activities. And so most of the time when they're going on these recreation adventures, they're going with volunteers who have volunteered to help, help them ski or help them raft, and things like that. Their funding sources, they get, the majority of their funding comes from a few different events that they put on. One of them is a gala that they put on that's open to the community. The other one is a race that is called Cache Valley Century Ride. So it's a big local bike race that brings in a lot of revenue, especially because people know that the money from it is going to help out this organization. So their 990 report, I was going to try and pull it up, but I couldn't figure out how to get that tech savvy. So I'll just talk a little bit about it. Their last report was 2 years ago, the one that was posted on GuideStar. And in that report, it reported that year they had made about $400,000 in revenue from their donations and from the different events that they had, and they ended up spending $73,000 more than what they made that year overall. And net overall, based on all of their assets, they weren't in the negative. They had about $700,000 listed on their 990 report of assets. And so it looked like for that year specifically that they would have had to dip into their savings by $73,000, which this is only 1 year's worth of reporting, but overall it's just not a super sustainable practice for a nonprofit to be spending such a significant amount more than what they made in a year, especially compared to the relatively low amount that this organization made in 1 year. So when I tried to reach out to them for an interview, they have only one way to contact them listed on their website, which is a general email for the organization, and I reached out to them and never got any sort of response from any of the emails that I sent. And so with that, my, evaluation of this nonprofit is that they are extremely effective at completing their mission. It said that last year they were able to serve over 3,600 people, which is amazing. They have a great, well-managed volunteer program, and they do a good job at bringing in local funding and funding from multiple different sources as well. But they, at least from the report I saw, they did spend more than they made in a year, which isn't a great practice. It was also discouraging that I wasn't able to get in contact with them, which means that they likely are, well, it just is a red flag for me because they were not open with community members or didn't seem open to talking to or at least responding to community members. So that's my evaluation for this nonprofit. Let's see. So the next one is the Family Place, and they are a really cool organization as well. I'll just read their mission statement is to strengthen families and protect children, and it says they do this by providing fun, family-focused events in the community. They also offer a variety of services such as therapy, educational workshop, and their kids' place. And then their vision is that they desire to have a world in which every family can feel safe and protected, and they want to be a refuge from the harmful circumstances that some families are in. So with that, this organization is really awesome. They provide a wide variety of opportunities for families and individuals, especially caretakers, one of the main ones being their Kids Place, which is pretty much free childcare for any caregiver who is in a pinch or in whatever the situation is. It's no questions asked that you're able to drop off your kids for a certain amount of time and receive free childcare. They also offer free therapy, different types of therapy, marriage and family therapy, as well as individual counseling, and they also offer educational workshops for things like abuse prevention and parenting and things like that. So they're a really family-focused, awesome organization that really just wants to help families to be able to thrive in this environment, because a lot of the times it is very difficult for families to thrive. So yeah, they're also located in Cache Valley, and part of their volunteer program, like I mentioned, they have a lot of different opportunities in their program for volunteers, but the main one is at the Kids Place, which I mentioned before. Their requirements for their volunteers are pretty extensive. Volunteers have to commit to go to a 3-hour training, which makes sense since they'll be working in childcare. They also have to pay for their own background check, which is around $50, and volunteers have to commit to volunteering at least 2 days a week on a set schedule, which can be difficult for somebody that just wants to volunteer in the community to have to commit to that much time of volunteering. But it is an effective program for them because it means that their volunteers really are committed and they'll be able to get the help they need from them. So their funding sources, they are also funded by events put on in the community, as well as large community donations, and they have partners with a few different families in the community that help fund a lot of their work. On their 990 statement, their last 990 statement, they had about $4 million that year in revenue that they had made from donations and things like that. And after all of their spending to run their program and pay their employees and everything, they ended up with over $400,000 left at the end of the year. And so this is a much more sustainable practice. They had that money at the end of the year to be able to save or invest it into things in the future, or ways to possibly make them more money in the future. When I reached out to them for an email or for an interview, I spoke to the person at the front desk on the phone. They forwarded me to a board member, and the board member didn't answer. I left my request for an interview along with my information, my phone number and email, and a few days later, the only thing I received was an email with their volunteer information attached, which wasn't the information that I had requested, so I thought that was kind of interesting. Poor communication on their part. So overall, my evaluation of them is that they are sustainable in that they have funding from multiple sources, and they did not overspend on how much money they were making. They're very ethical. They practice their mission. They are actively working towards it, and they're constantly opening up new parts of their program in order to fulfill this mission. And they're extremely impactful. On their website, they said that they served over 36,000 individuals last year, which is amazing. So the final nonprofit that I chose to talk about or to research was Helping Hearts and Hands. So their mission is to help reduce family stress by providing comfort or financial assistance for as many families as possible that have been impacted in some way by major medical misfortunes. So their vision is really just to have families be relieved from financial stress when a medical misfortune happens, and they desire that everyone gets what they need when it comes to their necessities. So Helping Hearts and Hands is also native to Cache Valley, Utah. Their volunteer program is a bit different than other nonprofits because of their specific mission. They have what's called a community advisory council, which is available for adults to join in any part of the valley, and what they do is these adults get together and they talk about the individual needs of their very localized part of the valley where they're from, and discuss how Helping Hearts and Hands can fulfill those needs. For example, if somebody in their neighborhood is going through a hard time, or in their local community, they provide that information to the organization, and then they decide how they can help them. They also have a youth committee for youth to join, which is really just helps youth get involved in service projects. And then when Helping Hearts and Hands does any sort of community events, the youth committee helps set up and take down for those events. So their funding sources, they also put on community events, but they're mainly funded by just individual donations at this point. The organization itself is relatively new. They just started as a nonprofit in 2022, so less than 2 years ago. Because of that, they didn't have a published 990 statement, and so I wasn't able to, see any of their financial records or anything like that. And so it's hard to say if they're making financially sustainable decisions as of right now. But I think going forward, this organization has a lot of potential. I didn't have a formal interview, but I was in contact with Steve Brown, who is on the board of directors. He was very helpful in providing information. He unfortunately recently had a knee surgery, and I wasn't able to have a formal interview with him, but he did help me to learn a lot more about their organization. So overall, with this organization, I would say that it's hard to say if they're sustainable. I would say that they are ethical in that they do follow their mission statement, or they do their best. They have done their best to in the last 2 years. And they are impactful. They've been able to help about 8 families a year since they started, pay for medical financial bills and things like that. And so overall, I would say that this organization, they have great community involvement and community outreach, and they're doing their best as a just starting out nonprofit.